Welcome to lesson 2 of Ganita Sutras mathematics on first principles. Before we take up the first principles values in terms of Ganita Sutra 1 and Ganita Upsutra 1, let us recite this text. Let us recite this text in a rhythm and with a faith as Vedic mathematics prayer. Eka adhikeन पूर्वेन निखिलिम नवस्तचर्मम दशता. बोलिए, करिए, कंटिन्यू. उधर्वतिर्यगभ्याम प्रावर्त्य योजेत शून्यम साम्य समुच्चय अनुरूपे शून्यत संकलन व्याकलनाभ्याम पूर्णापूर्णभ्याम. Continue with the rhythm. Continue with the rhythm. चलना कलनाभ्याम यावदूनम व्यष्टि समष्टि. Continue. You may continue with the help of the text, and also you may continue from your memory. This prayer be completed. Firstly, let us recite 16 sutras, and then let us recite the 13 upsutras. In continuity, our recitation is to be that we recite these sutras in a sequence. Sutra 1 to be followed by Sutra 2, then to be followed by Sutra 3, and like that we have to reach up till Sutra 16, and thereafter let us continue this Vedic Ganit prayer by taking up Ganita Upsutra 1 and reaching up till Ganita Upsutra 13. One shall recite this once, twice or thrice a day, and within few recitations, the entire text will be imprinted in our intelligence itself, in our memory, and then everything will become a mental. And this is the feature, as that the entire text of Ganita Sutras and Upsutras can be memorized, and the entire text will get imprinted in our memory, and we can that way avail the entire features of this entire text, and whole thing will become a mental. And that is why Ganita mathematics, Ganita Sutras mathematics, Vedic mathematics is designated as mental mathematics. One can pose to oneself a question as to why Vedic mathematics of Ganita Sutras is designated as a mental mathematics. Then one shall write an answer for this self-imposed question, and its answer will be that text of Ganita Sutras and Ganita Upsutras is a very small text, and this text can be memorized with few recitations, and as the entire text of Sutras and Upsutras can be printed well firmly in our memory, and as everything will go in the memory, and as there will not be need of any written text, therefore these features make this mathematics as a mental mathematics, as everything is to be done by the intelligence, by banking upon the memory. So from memory to the intelligence field, and intelligence field to the memory is our internal process. It is internal mental process. Therefore everything here is going to be parallel to the internal interaction between the memory and the intelligence field, and as such everything is such organized that it makes this mathematics as a mental mathematics. Today in lesson 2, our learning is to be focused upon Ganita Sutra 1, Eka Adhikena Purven, and Ganita Upsutra 1, Anurupe. Ganita Sutra 1, Eka Adhikena Purven, has a simple rendering, one more than before. This text, which is of two parts, and the first part as well is having two sub-formulations, Ek, which means one, Adhikain, which means more than, and this is having Purv, which means before. Purv also means east. We will come to it subsequently. Therefore, the first learning step in terms of Ganita Sutra 1 is that we shall reach at the simple rendering for this particular text, and in mathematical language, Eka Adhikain Purven will lead us to a rendering one more than before. It as such at this initial stage be taken as a working rule. The initial working rule of Ganita Sutra 1, Eka Adhikain Purven, is one more than before. The Ganita Upsutra 1, Anurupe, which means, Anu means follow, Rup means the form. Therefore, we have to follow the form. This is a symmetry. Therefore, as step 1, let us recite this text, Eka Adhikain Purven. As next step, let us reach at its simple rendering as a mathematical formula, mathematical rule. It is one more than before. Likewise, in respect of Ganita Sutra 1 as well, let us first recite this text, Anurupen, and it has inherent composition, internal composition following Anu and Rup, and this Anu means to follow, it means to follow, and Rup means the form, to follow the form. It is ultimately taking us to a symmetry or proportionately. These two reaching from symmetry to proportionality. Proportionality as well is a feature of a symmetry. We will be coming to it. Now, the next step, Eka Adhikain Purven, when it gives us before, therefore it is taking us to this methodology, before and after. This before and after, something is before and something is an after. So this one more than before is the working rule, and this working rule is also taking us to a organization feature, which takes us before and after. This Purven is after this. If we read from this Eka Adhikain Purven, then this is before and this is after. However, if we read from this side, it would be, this will be before and this will be an after. Therefore, this one more than before can be depicted as we count 1, 2, 3, 4, and we are progressing. And if we are in the opposite orientation, then it will be 9, 8, 7, and 6. Therefore, the learning step of the initial meanings of the working rule, one more than before, of Ganita Sutra 1 is to be illustrated is to be depicted firstly in the form of this orientation as 1, 2, 3, 4, and simultaneously an orientation 9, 8, 7 and 6. Here in symmetry, this to follow the form, it can be as if we are going from left to right, and also as if we are coming from right to left, or as if we are having a mirror and there is giving an increase for the object, and there will be decrease, symmetrical decrease for the object. Therefore, this object and image with the help of a mirror. Therefore, initial features of symmetry can be best demonstrated, illustrated, and to be observed with the help of a looking mirror. A looking mirror, any object placed before the looking mirror, gives us its object but with an opposite orientation. Therefore, this rule, one more than before, when is to be read together with the formula Anurupen, then it will give us that we can have a shift in the orientation. Let us make a note as that we are learning the initial meanings of Ganita Sutra 1 and Ganita Upsutra 1. Ganita Sutra 1, Eka Adhikain Purvain, is having a simple rendering, one more than before. The Ganita Upsutra 1, Anurupen, is having simple rendering as proportionately or as a symmetry. So we can mention that Ganita Sutra 1 is giving us a sequencing. So it is availing sequencing format. So it is making a mathematics of sequencing. This sequencing mathematics, this mathematics of bringing the things in a sequence, this mathematics of associating roll numbers to the students of a class, this mathematics of making queues, this mathematics of saying first, second, third, fourth, is the mathematics which is ultimately flowing from the working rule one more than before. And proportionality, this rule is following from the repeated application of this very rule. Let us note down that one of the illustrative application of Ganita Sutra 1 together with Ganita Upsutra 1 is that if as we are reaching from 1 to 1 plus 1, then 1 plus 1 plus 1 and so on, so symmetrically we can also reach at 2, 2 plus 2, 2 plus 2 plus 2 and so on, 3, 3 plus 3, 3 plus 3 plus 3, 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3. Like that, we can see that the mathematics of Ganita Sutra 1, the working rule of Ganita Sutra 1 gives us a sequence. Its Hindi term, parallel term is Kram. Therefore, let us note down that in the rule of Ganita Sutra 1, Eka Adhikain Purvain, we are having two technical terms. One technical term is 1. So 1 itself is a technical term. And the second technical term is more than. And then it also is having inherent in it before and after. Therefore, write down that the mathematics of Ganita Sutra 1 at its initial folding is a mathematics of sequencing. mathematics of sequence format, mathematics of putting the things in a particular sequence which brings in before and after. So if we are having pebbles in a pot and we want to sequence them, we can pick up one and then at second we can put it after it. Then we can have another and put it after it. Therefore, it is this sequencing. So putting the pebbles in a pot or in a heap, so lying anywhere in a ground or in a pond, then we want to sequence them, we want to arrange them, we want to count them. Therefore, the first application of the working rule of Ganita Sutra 1 is making a sequence format or putting the things in a sequence which bring in before and after. Therefore, this feature of before and after will be taking us to first and second. So from before and after as first and second, now these are the features which are flowing from it. Let us sit comfortably. Let us think about one. Let us think about some pebble. Let us think about some entity. So the pebbles and the entities and the technical term one as a count. Therefore, we can avail one as a value, as a count, as a counting value. Therefore, the counting value can be availed for putting the things, putting the pebbles, putting the entities, even putting the counts in a particular sequence. It is this sequencing format being made available by Ganita Sutra 1 is the basic format. So let us write down that Ganita Sutra 1 Eka Adhikain Purvain with simple rendering as one more than before is giving us a mathematical rule of putting the things, pebbles, counts, entity in a particular sequence of the format of before and after, first and a second and a third and a fourth, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Therefore 1, 2, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Then we call it first, we call it second, we call it third, we call it fourth, fifth and so on. Therefore, slowly, gently, we are reaching at the applications of the working rule of Eka Adhikain Purvain. As such, one shall recite this text. Let us recite this text very gently. This means we should reach at this particular text, taking it that it begins with the first letter, then it is followed by a second letter, then it is followed by a third letter, then it is followed by the fourth letter, then it is followed by a fifth letter, then the sixth letter, seventh letter, eighth letter and ninth letter. So it will make a Eka Adhikain. See, the rule of Ganita Sutra 1 is helping reach at the composition of the sutra itself. The mathematical rule of Eka Adhikain Purvain is the rule in terms of which we can reach at the composition, the internal organization of the sutra itself. Therefore, take it an exercise, apply the working sequencing rule of Ganita Sutra 1 Ekadhiken Purven to reach at the sequence of the letters availed by the composition Ekadhiken Purven. Therefore, when we'll apply this rule, means we are putting the letters availed here to put them in a particular sequence of the form of Ekadhiken Purven itself. Therefore, we will make a table and we will take up the first letter, then we'll take up the second letter. So it is before, then it would be following and after. It will become before, then next will be the after, and like that we will reach from number 1 to number 16. There are 16 letters. These 16 letters being availed for the composition of Ekadhiken Purven make a particular sequence. The sequential formatting of the letters of the text of Ekadhiken Purven blissfully takes us to the sequencing of first step being the letter A. At the second step we reach at letter Ka. At the third step we will reach at letter A, and like that we will reach up till 16 letters. Likewise, we can apply the rule of Ekadhiken Purven to the letters of Anurupen. The Anurupen is a composition which is availing 10 letters. These letters are to be made in a sequential formatting, and this sequential formatting will take the first letter as A, to be followed by Na, to be followed by U, and like that we'll reach up till the last 10th letter. Therefore, the second blissful exercise for application of the working rule Ekadhiken Purven, one more than before, will be helping us to have sequential formatting of the 16 letters being availed by Ganita Sutra 1 in this particular sequence, in this particular organization, with first letter A, second letter Ka. Here in this organization, this is of 10 steps, and the first step is of with respect to the setting of letter A, and second will be with respect to letter Na, and so on. Let us go a step ahead. We know that Ekadhiken Purven, if takes us to 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 1 plus 1, 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1, then if instead of a 1 we take up 2, then this rule Ekadhiken Purven is accompanied by the rule of proportionality, and now we will be, by applying this rule for value 2, it will be taking us to sequencing as 2, 2 plus 2, 2 plus 2 plus 2, and so on. A step ahead we can reach at 3, 3 plus 3, 3 plus 3 plus 3, and so on. So this is the first blissful exercise of having combined application of the rule of Ganita Sutra 1 Ekadhiken Purven together with the working rule of Ganita Sutra 1 proportionality, and we will be having like that the countings, these arrangements, these values reach. Now let us have a pause. Let us see that these steps, if we are taken along this orientation, we can also have these steps in other orientation. As here we start with 9, it will become the first step, it will become the second step, it will become the third step, it will be a fourth step, and so on. Now, like that, we can have a direct counting along one orientation, and then we can have a reverse counting. Therefore, for growing natural intelligence in the young minds, we can naturally follow the first step of counting in a direct sequence, reaching from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on. Then at a next step, let us go for the reverse counting. The reverse counting will be like 9, 8, 7, 6. Thereafter, a step ahead, our reach can be that instead of having a reach with 2, that means we can have a direct counting as a 2, then 2 plus 2, 4, then 2 plus 2 plus 2, 6. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. It is going to be direct counting. Then at the reverse counting, we can reach at 10, 8, 6. Let us have a pause here. Let us make a note that for intelligence growth, for the young minds, we can avail the working rules of Ganita Sutra 1 and Ganita Sutra 1 by putting these young minds along the sequencing format, firstly as a direct sequencing format in the form of a direct counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We can reach up till any steps. This sequencing format, this way of counting, this way of progression, this way of reach is called a direct counting. Let us make a technical term, direct counting. Let us define what the direct counting is as per the progression of reach from 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, and so on. Parallel to direct counting is a process of a reverse counting. That means now we will be in the reverse orientation and will coming from 9 to 8, 8 to 7, 7 to 6, and so on. Therefore, the first learning for the natural intelligence for the young mind is to put them on direct counting and parallel to it a reverse counting. As a second step, let us start, instead of taking 1, 1 plus 1 and so on, let us take 2, 2 plus 2, 2 plus 2 plus 2 and so on, and then reverse counting. And then a step ahead, we can start with 3, taking it to be 3, 3 plus 3, 3 plus 3 plus 3, means 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, and as a reverse 18, 15, then 12, then 9, then 6, then 3. Now, this way we can mature the young minds with the help of the combined mathematical rules of Ganita Sutra 1 and Ganita Sutra 1, putting them on the format, sequential formatting of the direct counting as well as upon the reverse counting. And this direct counting and reverse counting also can be simultaneously sequenced with the different values. Firstly, we can start with 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 9, reverse 9, 8, 7, 6. Then we can shift to 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 10, 8, 6, 4, 2. Then we can go a step ahead, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 18, 15, 12, 9, 6, 3. This way, when we will be putting the young minds from the initial stage on the first principles, then we can mature, we can perfect the intelligence of the young minds, firstly in putting the intelligence for having sequencing format. So making a sequencing format, making the things in a sequential organization, putting the pebbles, entities, counts, or human beings, or the students in a class, or the houses in a street, in a particular sequence. This sequencing, as per the rule of Ganita Sutra 1, taking first step, then to be followed by the next step, to be followed by the next step. Now this sequencing, such way of making cues, such way of putting the roll numbers, such way of organizing a table, organizing the entities on a table, or making a timetable of a first period, second period, third period. This way there is a very wide range of applications of these initial simple rules of Ekadhikain Purvain and Anurupain. And then, as a good exercise, let us apply this rule of one more than before upon the composition of the text of Ekadhikain Purvain itself, and in terms of it, let us associate sequencing order for the letters of Ekadhikain Purvain. There are 16 letters, and these 16 letters to be put in this particular arrangement that it makes a text Ekadhikain Purvain. Likewise, it can be put as Anurupain. Let us, as for better understanding, also place these letters. Say A, the first letter, it is a vowel. It would be in the range of 1 to 9, and its placement is at 6th place. So it is the 6th vowel. So further application of a higher level of better understanding, for more insight, will be that let us try to fix the positions of these letters in Devanagari alphabet. Let us close this lesson, complete this lesson by reciting the text of Ganita Sutras and Upsutras with a focus upon Ganita Sutra 1 and Ganita Upsutra 1. So let us recite this text. Eka Adhikain Purvain Anurupain. We know Eka Adhikain Purvain is availing 16 letters. Anurupain is availing 10 letters. So the complete text Eka Adhikain Purvain Anurupain will extend our sequencing up till 26 steps. These 16 steps will be availed for organizing 16 letters of Eka Adhikain Purvain, and the next 10 letters will be availed for the Anurupain. Here we can see that in silently we are reaching at the addition operation. We will be adding 16 and 10 and will be reaching at 26. So it is this Eka Adhikain going one more than on first principles, and we will reach up till 16 plus 10 is equal to 26. So addition on first principles is inherently available in the working rule of Ganita Sutra 1 to be availed together with Ganita Upsutra 1. We will continue from this step onwards in lesson 3. Thank you very much.